Right.
Okay, everybody ready? Okay, so hello and welcome to Lulu's Way, healthy food, healthy life. My name is Lulu. I am grateful for the opportunity to be your host this evening. In order to keep this meeting free from distraction, we ask that all in attendance please mute yourselves unless you're speaking. We also ask that you keep the video mode turned off if you're doing anything other than sitting and participating in this meeting so that we can minimize distraction. In this community, we gather to support, encourage, and inspire on the benefits of nutrition, weight loss, wellness, and the joy that comes from choosing to serve yourself well. We are not medically trained, nor do we have formal training in nutrition. We come together here for the sole purpose of providing support, sharing experiences, and promoting a healthy lifestyle. It may be wise to check with your healthcare professional with any dietary suggestions or advice you receive from this discussion group, particularly if you have any health challenges. Individuals in this group may have different ideas on how to eat healthy. Just figure out what works best for you and do it your way. So I just went on the little list that we had from a while ago. We asked a question, what kind of topics would you like? So I just went on that list, and I found this one. I found two things on the list that seemed to me to be a little bit related, and one was peer pressure, and the other was recognizing and managing cues that could lead to unhealthy eating, which kind of could be from peer pressure. So I just kind of grouped those together. So, um, you know, the things for me that I need to recognize and manage uh, is when it typically when it involves other people, or when it involves not being home and being away from my kitchen. So those are the only times. Those would be the things that I need to manage and recognize that could potentially leads me to unhealthy eating. But it's not going to, because I got it figured out after 10 years. 10 years tomorrow. Tomorrow is my 10-year anniversary. It's the 10 years ago tomorrow, on the April 12th, was the first day that I put my food on the scale. That was a big day. I didn't love it that day. And I just was done. I was at that, I'm going to say that day one, I was just, for me to even think about putting that day together and trying to do like, here we go again kind of a thing. Um, I was in despair, and I wasn't in a good place, even though I was doing it that day. It was like, I still felt like I wanted to solve the problem with food. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm miserable, eat. I'm miserable, eat. I'm miserable, eat. And then I was just like, oh, I'm miserable because because I'm eating. It's just like, just to stop that cycle was just rough. It was rough, but it's clearly doable. So all these years later, I get very, very little peer pressure because everybody knows that I don't budge. They just know I don't budge. They don't even ask anymore. They don't even expect it. They don't even want it, except for one person. Um, um, a friend of mine who watches my channel, and I won't mention his name. He was watching my video when I made that vegetable stew this week. And he was like, yep, the only thing that needed was some olive oil. You needed to cook the onions in the oil because they needed to get caramelized. It would have been so much better if they were caramelized. And I was just like, okay, so I've been eating like this for 10 years. You've known me for about 40 years, okay? So do you think I want to caramelize stuff? Like, do you really think I want to caramelize stuff? And so I'm at the point now, it doesn't feel like peer pressure when something like that is being spoken to me. It's just strange. It's just like, why would you even say that? You know, it was making his skin crawl that I was kind of boiling, because I put some water at the bottom of the pot, and I just wanted to soften. All I wanted to do was soften the onions and the garlic. I didn't need them to caramelize, which means bring out the sweetness, you know. And I understand that that is a very lovely flavor, and I understand that I do eat olive oil, but it wasn't going to work out with, you know, the dynamics of the weighing, the way that I weigh things, to try to figure out how many servings that was going to be. just say I knew it was like exactly 3 servings, I would put 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there, cook it all together, and I would know if I divided that recipe into thirds, it would be my veggie serving and my oil serving. But it's just not that important to get out the calculator for that. You know what I mean? It's like it's just not that important because it was delicious. It was delicious the way it was. So, and he said that more than once. Said it on the phone. He came over to help me with something and out on the deck, and he mentioned it again because he's like a chef. He's kind of a chef. He's won some awards like making like the best chili. He's won like trophies for his chili, but I'm not going to touch his chili. And it bugs him that I wouldn't touch his chili. I want your chili. I don't want your chili. I want what I have. So I just find that I don't, like, my nephew wants me to come over and visit him. There's some stuff going on. I said, something, I'll be over. I'm going to come over Tuesday. And when I pick my times of when I'm going to do things, I pick them very carefully, And so I knew that, like, I was going to have to be there for a meal because it's kind of a hike to get there. And I don't want to be thinking about leaving, to get home for a meal. I'm just going to bring my meal with me. And I just have it all planned out. It's like, I don't know what his plan is for food, but he's known me for 48 years because he's my nephew. And he knows what I do for the past 10 years. He wouldn't even think about, like, what can I have in the house for Auntie when she gets here? This wouldn't even be on his radar, But then there's those people. There's just like some people, like the one I was just saying, who, may want to pressure you to have. And it's like, I'm not going to feel like weird because you tell me that there's oil in your thing and I say that I'm not going to have it, I mean, in my video, I was intentionally making something that was 100% vegetable. I mean, I made that very clear, and we all know why. If you follow this food plan, how easy it is to just scoop that 16 ounces of that. It was so delicious. And I was thinking about all the people that have trouble with the volume, like, oh, it's just too much. It's too much. I mean, I don't get that. But anyway, but when you cook veggies down like this, it's just not, it seemed like a very small bowl of food, considering my meals look really big. So that's, cooking foods down like that would be helpful. But, also, holidays, that would be another thing that you need to recognize and manage. And it's like, Valentine's Day does not have to be chocolates. Easter doesn't have to be chocolates. Thanksgiving doesn't have to be pies. I mean, the way that I manage my holidays is that my holidays are now like 100% about the people. It's like 100% because I'm just going to have the same food I always have because it's what I want. And it's 100% about the people. And it's a real unique way to spend a holiday. And if you've never tried it, give it a try because it's really interesting when you just take the food out of the whole experience and just be there for the people. So I don't really. I'm going to say what could be pressure for me, but it's not because it's just not because I don't feel pressured. It would be a lot of comments I get on my channel and on my videos. People that want to say, what you're doing is just, I would never want to do that. Well, then don't. Don't. I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but maybe you're, I don't know. And I think that when I first started my channel And it was all about the van. It was all about the van. It was all about the van until I started traveling in the van. Then it became traveling in the van, and for me, it included a lot of food. So that's how my food kind of got into the mix. And people were not really. They were trying to figure out what the heck I was doing, you know, with meals and meal planning and how strict I was, you know, and you know, it's really taken like this whole year, a whole year, for people to actually see, like, here it is a year later, and I'm still doing the same thing, you know, like you just have to like anybody that would be watching me at the beginning would be thinking like, oh well, she's just on a diet and she'll be, you know, she'll be baking a cake next week, you know, and I knew that wasn't going to happen, and I wasn't going to tell everybody that that wasn't going to happen because I don't want to be preaching anything, you know, on my channel. I'm just being an example, you know, and then that's when people just saw it for so long. And it's just like, wow, this lady ain't budging, you know? And then that's when people became curious about that, you know? So if I listened to people, I know what I do is different. It's not average. And it's probably not very average to be 65 years old and to be at a healthy weight and to not have any health issues. That's probably odd too, you know? So you see what I'm saying? You know, I don't take any medications, and I do attribute that to eating well, because you know I don't come from a very strong gene pool. You know, my whole immediate family is dead, and they died young, and you know, my father died. He was 66. My mother was 64. My brother was 44, and that's all of them. And it was disease. And so, yeah, I mean, I was just kind of like, well, I guess I'm next. You know, it was just going right down the line. And, but, you know, I had a different path. And at that time, I really wasn't taking very good care of myself. It was about 30 years ago when this all happened. It took me a while. It took me a while to really just say, like, you know, I just want to feel better. I want to feel better. And I do. And there's nothing that could pressure me out of that. I just can't be pressured out of it. I can't be. Because before, like at the beginning, when I knew it was odd and different, if somebody would be like, oh, you know, you don't make an exception. I mean, come on, everything in moderation. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. Everything in moderation, Lulu. You know, you just have everything in moderation. Yeah, well, guess what? I don't have a moderate bone in my body, you know, but I don't even explain. I don't even bother explaining it. I'm just like, yeah, you know, yep. Okay. And, exactly. Somebody just said, like you would say to somebody that was a drug user, somebody just typed that. Exactly. It would be like telling like an alcoholic, like, oh, just have one drink. You can have one drink. Oh, come on. Let's just, you know, let's just buy one lottery ticket. It won't kill you. If you got a gambling problem, you've like lost everything to gambling and you've given it up, and then you go and, oh, what's one scratch ticket? You know, it's like, it's the same thing. But you know, food in society is just too big of it's like a feeling, you know, it's like a feeling. It's like love. And it's like, look what I made for you. And look at how much I care about you. And look at, this is what I want to take you to dinner. I want to take you to dinner. You know, there's people that want to take me to dinner. I've heard that over the past 10 years, you know, with some dating that I've done, like people want to take me to dinner. And I'm like, you know something? I'm going to be like the cheapest date you've ever had because I don't want any free dinners. Let's go for a walk. That's what I want to do. Let's go for a walk and talk. And so that's what I've been doing for 10 years. And some people really like that. And then some people don't like it at all. And That's okay. If you want like a drinking buddy and an eating buddy, I'm not your girl. You know, I am not your girl. Trust me. You will be so bored with me. Um, but if you have any situations that come up that like examples, if you have examples of times that you've felt pressured, or something that's coming up that you think that you might feel pressured, or things that people are saying to you, because all I know is that you've got to advocate for yourself. You know, you're advocating for your health, you know, the same way I advocate for my health care. Like if I'm at a doctor's office, like you better believe I'm getting to the bottom of everything, and I'm going to understand everything. And I may not do what has been advised. I might have my own plan because I advocate for my own and plan my own health care. And I like to go get the information. I like to go to the doctor to get the information so that I can make a good decision. And I do the same thing for myself in social situations. I just advocate for myself, and I don't have to explain it. In fact, I find that's annoying, like especially to somebody that is maybe struggling too, to just talk about how, oh no, I'm just eating healthy now. And it's just like, it's kind of like saying to somebody else, like, you eat unhealthy, but I don't, you know. It's just like, nah, I'm all set, you know, I'm all set, you know. And you know, don't you ever enjoy yourself with a nice meal? Yep, 3 times a day. Yep. I do. I'm seeing that my friend Peg is here. Hi, Peg. You got new glasses.
Well, these are my one pair of my crazy looking cheaters. I know they're crazy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say no. So Peg and I went to St. Augustine in Florida together when I was traveling down my last trip, and her and I got an Airbnb for a week. And so the deal was like, I was like, I don't know what you want to do with food, but we can either grocery shop, and we can you can get what you want and I'll get what I want. Or I mean, she knows, like, and I know that she enjoys going out to dinner, and she can make healthy choices that work for her at a restaurant. But she knows, like, if she's going to come out vacation with me for a week, we probably won't be doing that, you know. And she still wanted to come anyway. Well, we've been friends for 45 years, so we've been friends since we were in our early 20s, and back when we were cray. Back in the olden days. But anyway, she said, no, I would love to eat just like you. I said, all right, what we'll do is we'll get all the food and we'll just split the cost. And I cooked and she cleaned. It was perfect. And were those meals pretty good?
They were great.
Yeah.
In fact, I looked at it as a reset, and you know, I make them now. I mean, I got some great ideas, and I make them now.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. No, I was looking forward to it because, you know,
she's like,
I'm not perfect, and it really kind of, you know, it set me straight, and I love that food. You know, I love all those vegetables.
Yep. We made
the fish and the proteins and all that. Yep. So yeah, it was all delicious, and you're such a great cook. So no, I loved it.
Good. Yeah, it was a good time, and we made I just put like all the containers, because you know how I prep cook. So I was doing all this prep cooking, and I would just, when it was mealtime, I just put all the containers on the counter, take all the covers off, and then we would just each, you know, I weigh mine, she doesn't. Her meals were always smaller than mine. That's okay. And then, you know, and we just had what we wanted to have, and then closed all the covers and put them away. And it worked out perfect. So, you know, you can still maintain some friendships when you're doing something so out of the box like I do, you know, when they're special enough, you know, because there's a lot of people that one of my cousins actually told me that she really didn't enjoy being with me anymore because I didn't eat and drink. Yeah. And I always thought that was pretty sad. Yeah. So we had a close relationship, and then now we don't. I mean, I thought there was something a little bit more to our relationship with that than that, but I guess it wasn't. And but that's okay because she wants an eating buddy. I don't, because this is more important to me. So that's how you know, uh, we had a lot of fun, her and I, eating and drinking together, cooking, drinking, eating, and yes, it was fun. And it's but now I have other ways that I have fun, and food is just my nourishment. It's just really that simple. And when it's delicious, God gave me taste buds for a reason, so I can enjoy something that's so necessary for me. And that's how good God is. And I enjoy every meal, but it's not what life's about. It's not the big picture, you know. So I like to kind of keep my my eye on the big prize. The big prize is really not the next meal, but it's just now. It's always now. It's always right now. That's the prize, you know. So I hope that was helpful to anybody. And if anybody wants to share really on anything, like I said, on anything, but if there's any kind of pressure that you're getting or any situations that you feel uncomfortable, because I don't want it to beat you. I don't want it to get you, you know. I want you to be like, it's not even really about being strong. It's about just loving yourself too much to make exceptions for what? For somebody that wants you to put a certain thing in your mouth and chew it and swallow it. Like, it doesn't even make any sense when you put it like that. You know what I mean? It's like, why do you need me to do that? Why do you need me to have oil in my stew? Like, why? You didn't have one bite of it. It doesn't even, why do you care? You know? But it's just, people are funny. People are funny. And in their way, and I'm funny in my way. You know, so anyway, thank you very much. Barb, do you have any comments?
Yeah, sure. So, we just had Easter, and my neighbor invited me over, and I've been doing this just over a year, so pretty much everybody knows how I eat now and how I choose to nourish myself. And so she knew that I wasn't going to have what they do pretty good. They're pretty healthy, but it's just not the way that I prepare my food. So I brought my own meal and I put it in on one of her plates, and not a person noticed. They were just all consumed with their meal, and nobody noticed. And I, enjoyed my meal, and it works well. Just communicate to your host. I feel if you communicate to your host, whoever it is, just that you'll be, bringing your own meal, and most of the time they're fine with it. I haven't had anybody not be fine with it.
Yeah.
So.
And Bob, you said that that they didn't notice, but maybe even if they did notice, they didn't say anything because there's really nothing to talk about.
Yeah, could be.
You know what I mean?
But the host was sitting across from me. She's a really good friend of mine. Her name is Kim. She was sitting across from me, and she said afterwards, when we were chatting on the phone a couple of days later, she said, "Damn, your dinner looked really good, Barb." And I said, "Yeah, it was really good." She said, "Yeah, it looked really good." And I've also gone out to dinner and checked the menu at the restaurant. I didn't pick the restaurant; it was picked, and there wasn't anything that I could eat. Nothing would serve me. So I ate before I left, and then I went there, and the waitress said, "What are you going to have?" And I said, "I'm all set." And the waitress just went on. She didn't care if I ate or not. And my friend just looked at me, and I said, "I already ate, but I wanted to come and have conversation with everybody." So it's not about eating for me. It's about friendship.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of it. So I think if you're upfront and honest, it goes a long way. So yeah, I haven't had any. I have had people say to me when I told them I don't eat dairy because dairy causes me issues, so I'm sensitive to it, and so I don't eat dairy. And they go, "Oh my God, how can you not have cheese?" And I go, "Well, when you were as sick as I was a year and a half ago, and then got instantly feeling better after 3 days because you stopped eating dairy, you wouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even appeal to me anymore because I know how bad it made me feel. So, I mean, I'm fortunate that I can have such a reaction to something and know what caused it, I guess. Because sometimes it's very difficult to figure out what the food is that is causing you distress. And so I feel myself very fortunate. But, other than that, they just can't imagine life without cheese. And I can't imagine life with acid reflux as bad as I had it. So, that's just, I said, you do you, I'll do me. That's what I say. You do you, I'll do me.
Yeah.
And then we just move on.
And then it just, everything gets so easy if we could all just do that all the time about everything.
The longer we do this, people, the more people understand your journey, and the less this is a conversation piece. It's not even really a conversation piece anymore. They just know. So,
because they know when you're actually in it. Like you're in it to win it. Like it's not just everybody would be like waiting for me to go off my diet so we could go out and eat and drink again.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just kind of like, then after a while, people just kind of like, I don't think that's.
They might be waiting because, it's only been a year. It's only been 5 months of maintaining. So,
yep.
And I say only, it's a journey. So they might be waiting, but I doubt it. My friends are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I just wanted to share those two
excellent
points that came up recently.
Yeah, thanks, Barb. I was also thinking about when you were talking about being at that table and you've got your healthy meal and a lot of the other stuff look healthy. It reminded me of times where I've been at somebody's house and I just want to bring my own meal, even though maybe I could have made a couple of things work and I could have brought a couple of things, but for me, when it gets like that, I don't need it. Like I don't need their stuff that much. I'd rather just bring it. But sometimes like people will feel like, oh, she's bringing a healthy meal, and like my food isn't healthy, and sometimes people can feel a little funny. Now I know that's not my job to make them feel better about it because, I didn't say that yours isn't healthy. I never said that. But what I find myself doing sometimes is I will compliment their food, even though I'm not eating it. I'll be like, look at this beautiful table of food that you made. It's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Just beautiful. All the colors, and look at what a great job. Everything looks wonderful. And I can compliment the food even if I'm not eating it. I learned that. And so that's an idea too.
The other thing too, one more thing about that is she's really happy that I'm bringing my food because she doesn't have to worry if I have enough food.
Yeah.
Because she will worry. She is Italian like you, Lulu, and she will worry.
Mangia.
Manja. So she says, oh, I'm so glad you're bringing your own food because I don't have to worry about whether or not I have enough options for you. So there's that as well. So, I'm doing her a favor, doing her a solid.
There you go.
Power to the big ass salad.
All right, let's see who we got here. Oh, lots of people want to share. I'm so excited. Mary is first. Hi, Mary.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
Good. I had a challenge Tuesday. I had a colonoscopy, and and it was like 64 ounces of Gatorade with something like 323 grams of Miralax and 4 Duplex. I mean, it was just, I thought I was going to get sick to my stomach with that Gatorade. And it was the most horrible. I don't remember when I ever had Gatorade, if ever. It might have been during my marathon days or whatever, but that was just awful. And not eating for 3 days, it was just terrible. I mean, that's so sweet, and I would just as rather not do any. I had that same pressure that you spoke of, Lulu, with drinking. When I first gave up drinking 41 years ago, that was not the time. In those days, people were, alcoholics were so frowned on. They still are, but it was even worse then. And I happened to be working in the ski industry, which was even worse. And I got a lot of I got a lot of ribbing because I didn't have it and I wouldn't have it. And it just, that was the way it was. I now have none of those friends anymore. I never get any problem with drinking this. None of my friends actually drink to speak of. But it is certainly different with the food because I'm at my daughter's house in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm sitting out in my van, and this is where I stay. I make my meal, and then I go in and I have meal with them. They know, they don't bother me. They're just as glad they don't have to go out and buy the food, like you said, Barbara, because I'll have what I need. All 3 meals I have, and I bring them in, or some in the morning I'll just have it in my van. But I was listening to Mel Robbins last night, and she was saying how her husband wanted to start a new. He wanted to start over again, and he was off the booze and not drinking, and she was busy making dinner, and she pours herself a glass of wine, and she says, "Oh, come on, honey, come on, have some wine." And he says, "You know, you're more troubled about what I don't have in my glass than and what you do have." He says, "Maybe you should look at what you're talking about. It's, in other words, you're pointing the finger at me, but there's 2 more pointing back. You know, it's if people are complaining that you're not drinking or not eating, I think it may be a reflection on themselves and not us. You know, that's my take on it. So I think I remember my brother would not come, to my house anymore because I didn't have booze. So he's gotten over that. You know, he brings his own booze, but he very rarely comes to visit, so I don't have to worry about it. But there is a lot of pressure out there when you're different, when you want to do something for yourself, and people are challenged by that, I believe. And they kind of think that maybe there's something wrong with you, but I'm grateful to be where I am today, and the food is just delicious, and I'm enjoying it, and I don't have to explain myself to anybody, which is nice. They all take me the way I am, thank God. So it's about time.
Yeah,
But that's all.
and
Thanks.
just watching somebody take good care of themselves, it's like, how can you not just think that's awesome?
The thing with the colonoscopy was I was there, and she said to me, "How come you don't take any pills and you're 79? I said, "Well, you don't go to doctors." That was my answer. I try and stay away. This colonoscopy, though, has been a long time in the making because I have been dealing with the digestive issues for a long time. And I really needed to get things straightened out if there was anything there. Yeah. Of course, your mind goes crazy. I have cancer. I mean, my daughter is she's in remission. She's going for her radiation next week. But, it's just all over. My parents died young. Mom died of cancer. Sister had cancer. She died. So, I mean, we're just loaded with cancer. So that's the first thing I thought about with the colonoscopy. And I said, well, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and do this because I want to clear my mind and I want to have everything. And I cleared more than my mind. So,
cleaned house.
Anyway, I'm just delighted to know I'm in good health, But yeah, they said, we'll see you in 5 years. I said, 85? I'm going to be coming back for a colonoscopy? Yeah. Are you nuts? So anyway, okay.
Well, great. That's great, Mary.
I also had the Gatorade issue. It was so sweet, couldn't drink it because I just had one last year as well. In the middle of my journey. And I think next time I would either A, cut the Gatorade in half, or B, I have found a better electrolyte that's more natural than Gatorade ever could be. So it's called Element, LMNT. All right. And it's a really good electrolyte, and it's all natural salts to help replenish, because that's what you're supposed to do, like if you're excessive sweating or working out. that's when I drink the electrolytes. Or
And there's no sugar in it? There's no sugar in it? Yeah.
Nope. It's only potassium, sodium, blah blah. Two. I forget what they are, but I can share it if people are interested in it. But yeah, it's a really good electrolyte. It's not. You have to get it online, and it's maybe not cheap, but we cut it with water because we don't like it very salty, and therefore we can make it last longer. But
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on the Facebook page.
Okay, so next up is Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
So I had a bit of a situation challenge this week. I have a friend that I've known since we started high school at 13 in the Caribbean. We've remained friends, She's heavy, nowhere near as heavy as I was, but we were always on some diet. She lives in Maryland. And so because many of us can work remotely now, she's visiting family near where I live. And she's been here for a couple of months. So it's been nice, been hanging out, She's seen the weight loss, and she really she had a function that she wanted to go to this evening. And I find that on this journey, we put things in place that are going to help us be successful. And I consider our meeting one of those things. It's really important to me. Everybody knows at the office, don't ask me to do anything on Thursdays because I've got to get home. And I mentioned it to her, and she was really, really annoyed. And I looked at her and I said, well, what if I told you it was a support meeting? If I told you I was going to an AA meeting, would you be this angry? And she looked at me, she said, no, but what do you guys talk about? I said, we talk about anything. I said, we talk about struggles. I said, but mostly we're talking about successes. We're talking about feeling better. I said, you've known me since you were 13 years old. I said, you knew when I was flown into Miami by jet because my blood sugars were over 900. You know that I've been able to come off of insulin, that I had to shoot myself with it twice a day. I said, you have to know that that's more important to me than hanging out on a Thursday. We can hang out another night. It just cannot be Thursdays. And I find that as I go along, I keep gaining strength to stand up for myself, because I can't expect someone else to do it for me. I know what is good for me. I know what's important. It's important for me to see all of your faces, and it's unbelievable how I feel I'm beginning to know you guys just by the screen. It's really, really, really interesting, and I really look forward to it. And so it's sort of like what you were saying, Lulu. Nobody can dissuade you. I will not be dissuaded. And I'm going to put every tool that I can to help me on this journey, because I intend to reach my goal of the best health possible for me. I used to get depressed sometimes and think, look what you've done to yourself. You could have taken care of yourself better. You wouldn't have neuropathy. I was always the one that if you want something on the ladder, well, let's see when Chris can come over. And I stand at the top of the ladder. I'll fall off now because I don't feel my feet that well. And I've come to the realization, focus on the things that I can still do. Focus on the energy that I have. Focus on the fact that my feet are not flying off the handle with pain because I'm eating better. So it's a mind shift that takes time and it takes work. And that's what we're all doing here. We're working on ourselves. So that was my challenge this week. So,
Chris, let me ask you a question. I'm not really familiar with the issue you have with your feet, but is that reversible or is that permanent?
There are theories that it can be reversible.
Then you'll do it.
If I don't add any sodium to my food, it's night and day.
Wow.
In the beginning, when it was really, really bad, I couldn't even sleep at night because they burned, they hurt, they felt like I had 2 cement blocks walking around. It was the most dreadful thing in the world.
And that's from diabetes? That's from diabetes?
Yeah. it's nerve damage from diabetes. So, I take a lot of different vitamins, B's, and all sorts of vitamins that help with that. And it's much, much better. So I just working my plan.
Yeah.
I can only do the best that I can do for myself.
Right.
I can't change the past anymore.
Right.
And I can't cry about the past, because life is worth living. And life is worth living feeling the best that I can. And I feel good. So
Good. That's great, Chris. Wow. Yeah, you just say, nope, I have plans Thursday night. I have plans Thursday night. And I don't, just because it's Lulu's way, healthy food, healthy life, doesn't mean that I have to be here. This meeting could run without me. That's why I like having a co-host. I have a co-host in my book club. Even my book club, I have a co-host, because I was like, I don't know if I can make it every Tuesday night. But guess what? I haven't missed one. You know why? Because I don't want to. I don't want to miss it. So this is really important to me too. And it always reminds me of the gift that I have, watching you all in the early stages of it, and that real excitement, and that like, I'm gonna do it. I love that. I remember that, but hey, I'm still doing it. I told you, I came back, I was up 6 pounds. So I was like, I made some changes, and I said, I'm doing it. Like, this is what I'm doing. And I already feel so much different. I wouldn't be surprised if it's off now. It feels like it is. And I don't, like I said, it was new weight. You know what I mean? It was new. So I don't even know, it comes on quick like that. It comes off quick too, that's if you take care of it, but, I feel great. And I don't care like that. I feel like I'm okay now. All those boundaries that I set around all those different things, there's no negotiating. I'm not negotiating a thing, because I have till May 1st, and that's what I'll check it on May 1st, because it comes first. It comes first. The adjustments that I made, just like your adjustments, if you've got to adjust the salt so that your feet feel better, you decide, do I want salt in my food, or do I want feet that don't hurt? Do I want to follow my food plan and get closer to my ideal, or do I want to eat and go this way? You just make your decisions, and I like to think that I make with knowing so much about myself now, just being really aware of that cycle, the cycle of overeating, just being so aware of that now, it's just kind of like, it's almost like I can't lie to myself anymore. Like, oh, just a bite won't kill me. Like, I can't even say that anymore without laughing, because it doesn't even make any sense anymore. It's like, what do you mean? Of course it's going to kill you. It's going to ruin everything, and it's just not that important. It's not that important. Like the almonds on my breakfast, my life is, the quality of my life has not gone down because I haven't had almonds in my breakfast. I'm enjoying my breakfast. It's just something different, and it's just those changes that I needed to make for myself. So good for you, Chris. Love it.
Yeah, Chris, I wanted to say too, that's a really good example of navigating this whole journey, not just around the food, but around socially. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the food, but it has something to do with something, this, like you said, this meeting. That's a challenge as well. And so I think you handled that like a champ.
I didn't expect to have that challenge though, Yeah.
Yeah. And how to communicate what you did without, pushing too much against your friend, because she just doesn't understand, or she hasn't been around you enough lately to understand your journey.
Right.
So it's, I think you handled that really well. And it's, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I've never been committed to anything as much as I'm committed to Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did this happen? Because I don't like commitment.
I would have to have a work commitment, to miss my meeting. I'm just missing it.
So good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I'm sure your friend understands, and she'll get it.
Yeah, she apologized later, and we're good. I mean, we've been friends for so many years, and you just can't, a friendship just can't be destroyed that easily,
No.
And it's the kind of friendship where I can give her a piece of my mind, and today she kind of got it, like, back off, No.
Yeah.
And it was a good example you gave too, because you wouldn't say to an alcoholic, well, you can't go to an AA meeting,
right?
And maybe not everybody is in that ballpark, but I know for me, if I have one piece of sugar, if I have one piece of pumpkin pie, I'm eating that whole pie.
Yep.
Because I'm the only one in the house that likes it, so it'll get eaten. Yeah. And I'll justify it. So I just don't do it at all, and that's the same, So I feel that this group is like a meeting like that for me.
Yeah, and reminding.
And maybe it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and reminding you to eat just eat safely. It's just about being safe, from
Good on you, Chris.
Just keeping yourself safe physically and and mentally, because I'm not safe if I start eating again, because I don't want to be miserable again. I don't want to be miserable again. I love to always have a smile on my face because it's genuine, and I feel that the deep joy, and it's from Tuesday and Thursday nights. It's both, for me, it's both those pieces. It's a spiritual thing, and it's the just feeling physically well. It's just, there's just no price tag on that,
Yeah.
Just feeling good every day. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks so much, Chris. Next is Pam.
Hi. Let's see. Yeah, all the planning. Thank you, everybody, for all the feedback on the group. The planning, the prep, that was so helpful, and just getting it all. I need a little help with the organization yet. Need to keep practicing that. But other than that, and the only thing I didn't plan for was when I got home. I knew I'd be getting home close to dinner time, but I was like, oh no, I'm starving. So I had to scramble and put something together, but I had like a bag of shredded cabbage. So that was quick and easy cook, an onion and a few little peppers. So it was a quick, easy cook I got. But I was like, oh shoot, I really should have had something ready and planned for when I got home. So that was one thing I learned. And one thing I learned too is because this was really the first time I've been, I'd say, like out exposed to restaurants or cafes or anything, because I don't really go out much. And we walked into a rest area to use the bathroom. I took my aunt, and so she could go and get something to eat. And the smell of that, what is it? Annie's pretzels. And I'll tell you, I don't know if I've even had them.
You just imagine.
I had them once, but I'm not not a big thing on it. But boy, something just smells so yummy. And I'm like, oh, that's not yours. Just go right on out. And it didn't bother me. I didn't want to go to it. But boy, I recognized how it smelled nice. Yeah. But I have a positive. My mom, who has always been, she bakes, and that's her loving expression. So anytime I go there, it's, oh, well, we'll have a cookie, or have a this, or have a that, or she'd come over, she'd bring stuff for me and my son, and she's actually finally stopped doing that just in the last couple of months. And she understands now why I need her to not do that. I went to her house for dinner, and I brought most of my vegetables because I knew she would have string beans. And I said, well, I'll bring, some more, because I'm going to need a lot, because I don't think she grasped how much a lot is. And I made my plate. I weighed it all in the kitchen, and I brought my plate out. And now my dad has some dementia, and he looked at my plate and he goes, you got a lot of string beans there. That's a lot of food you're going to eat. And my mom looked at him very proud and said, yes, she eats all that, and that's how she lost 50 pounds.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so that was she's really turned around, and that's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it took her a long time to get it, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've been struggling for the 8 years since I've been sick, where all this weight really piled on, and she's been just bringing me candy, and now she figured it out. She got it. I think she saw how serious I am. And I talk about Lulu, and she says, well, if Lulu says you can't eat it, then you can't. Now she tells me. And then I have 2 old friends who are not quite getting it. My one friend, every time we don't see each other a whole lot, but we talk every day. And she wanted to bring me coffee the other day, but of course she comes with donuts. Now she knows I'm not eating these things. And I said, yeah, bring a coffee. We'll sit outside and we'll just have a donut. A little bit won't hurt. Or what else she say? Well, you got to live a little, all the same things. And she gets relentless with it. It gets to a point, I said, Cindy, I'm really not ready. Maybe someday I'll be ready to have a little, but not now. I'm not ready. And we'll just give it to Jason then. So, it's a little hard. She really, really does love through food. Very, very strongly. And then my friend Jessica, we have a timing issue, and she doesn't drive. So when I want to pick her up, because she wants me to take her to a store, she's on a very different time clock than me. And it's always during my meal times. And I had to sit down a week ago with her and explain to her, I cannot take you at 1 to 2 or 12:30 to 1:30. And I have to be home by 4 because I need to get my meals done before I do my Zoom meetings. And I have a schedule. And until I'm more confident, maybe I'll slack off a little bit and be more lenient. But until then, no. I have to stay on a very strict schedule. If I have errands to do, I do them between 9 and 12. Take the dog for a walk, prepare my lunch, do my little stuff in the afternoon, housework, start preparing the dinner so I'm not starving when it's time to eat. And then I eat at 5:30, and I have to stick with that. And I had to sit there and really explain it. I don't know if she gets it completely, but I'm going to stick with it. Because it just has to be that way. I feel like if I just falter a little on time and I'm a little too hungry, then I get weak. And that's my trigger, is I get weak. If I get too hungry, if I get too tired, then I'm weak. And I've learned that, and I recognize it now, and I'm trying to avoid that. So staying on a very, very strict schedule for me is really what's helping. But I'm very happy with the travel. It really went well, and I had to select from a menu last night. But I got vegetable and a protein, and it wasn't enough, but I had extra sugar snap peas I could munch on raw, so I had enough to fill in with. And I never ate my breakfast meal yesterday. I ate it at night. We were too tired. We went to bed at 9. So I skipped that meal. But I was more exhausted than anything else. So. But otherwise, it's really, I think, keeping very strict with it right now. And people just they're going to have to just deal.
Well, that's a good one, Pam. And those are great examples of, putting yourself first and doing what serves Pam well versus, pleasing to other people. Right? So that's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things for both my friends, Jessica and Cindy, to get, is because I've always just been go with the flow. And if Jessica was having a rough morning because her husband's very ill, and I get that, and and she needed to change the time, I'm usually just like, okay. Like, no, now I'm like, no, I can't, I'm eating at that time. So, so it's going to be hard for them to grasp and get used to.
Yeah. And, you
But-
can change the time and just change it till, after,
Right.
when it's another time that works for both of you, not just the next time that comes, which is mealtime. All my plans are made around my meals, just because
Yeah.
I can take them on the road and I can take them with me. I'd rather not. Like I would rather do things like I was just making plans with a friend today, and I said, so I'm available either. I don't say like Saturday or Thursday. I say I'm available Saturday afternoon, or
Right.
Thursday morning, and I just make my plans around that. Even like I've had a lot of work done in my house the past few days, just a lot of landscaping and plumbers and repair, just kind of getting her done for springing up the house,
Yeah.
And even those things, I'm like, I'm available after 1, after 1 is good, before noon. And I don't like, they kind of come in and do the stuff, and I just want to be available and I want to have my meal. So I even plan, all that stuff has been planned around my meals,
Right. Yeah, because I like to sit down and focus on it.
Yeah, because it's delicious.
And the salad takes me probably 45 minutes to eat.
Yeah.
The raw vegetables, the dinner not so much, but the salad really takes me a long time to eat.
Yeah.
And it's I really do. I do enjoy just sitting and enjoying it. I don't want to be eating it, running around.
Yeah. And just look at just all the different stories that you shared. All I could hear was just like commitment. Like you are just like, you're in it.
Yeah, I really feel on it right now.
Yeah, you're on it.
I really do.
This is awesome.
When did you start again?
Unofficially last September, but more officially in February. I kind of started, but I was a little tweak for the whole fall and winter. But then when that February, I think it was 9th, Lulu, that we had that nice conversation, and I admitted where I was not admitting to for myself.
Yeah.
And that's when I got super serious.
Yep.
And I just feel amazing since then. So I don't see any reason to do anything different.
I think what we talked about was I just wanted you to understand what you were going to feel if you did it 100%.
Right. And made me, you brought out in me the places that I thought really, even though they weren't 100%, they were okay.
Yeah.
But they weren't really.
Yeah. Yep.
You kind of made me admit it. You kind of drew it out of me. Like you knew it, but you just didn't tell me. You just made me admit it. You made me figure it out.
Yeah, I'm clever like that.
Yeah, you were very clever. But you made me come to realize it. And I think telling somebody isn't really going to make them change it.
Right.
Until they actually feel it and see it and admit it.
And you were coming to me. You were reaching out to me because you were in pain. Because you were struggling. So it's kind of like, so that says what I'm doing isn't working because I'm struggling. It doesn't matter if the pounds are coming off. You're struggling. You're all over the place. You're not like, am I in it? Am I not in it? And then when you isn't it freedom? It's just freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
As restricting as it is, it's freedom. It's just amazing.
I don't feel restricted in any way.
No, I don't either. No. Oh, I'm so happy, Pam.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh,
thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, I love you all.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
I love being here.
Next we have is Nicole.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, there she is. Nicole.
How are you guys?
Wonderful.
I just wanted to say, the truth will set you free just kind of came up to me, Pam, when you were talking. And it's true because you can feel the truth inside of yourself. And if this is right for you and taking care of yourself, I think is always right for you. There were times like I tried to start a plan or a diet, and I would just be hanging on by my fingernails, like trying to make myself do the plan and fighting off cravings. And the cravings didn't go away because there was still limited amounts of sugar or pastas or breads. And I wouldn't tell people I was on a diet because I knew I was going to fall off, and I didn't want to feel terrible when they knew I fell off, you know? And that was almost everything. Like, okay, I'm going to start Monday and I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to tell anyone because I know I'm going to fail, and I don't want to go through that explaining to others. That happened for years for me. And so, you know, now I feel like I have patience with my friends and the people I love who ask me lots of questions about what I'm doing. Am I going to keep doing this? Are you really going to do this? Because they've known me so long, and they know my pattern. And they also, like, you know, they want to see me succeed, but they don't want me to like deprive myself, you know? And so I understand, and I have a lot of patience for them. It doesn't mean I'm going to budge, not one little iota, because I know what's right for me. But I try to be patient. Like, you know, some of my family members are like, will you let me know when you're done with this? Because I want you to try this. And I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be a long wait, you know? So I understand where they're coming from, and I don't see them as saboteurs so much as just they've known me a long time. This is probably to them just another thing she's trying. And it's okay. I don't need them to agree with it, but I'm going to keep doing this. I just know inside that I'm doing it right. Hard things. And we can. And at first it was hard, but the beauty is it's not so hard anymore. You know, the cravings go away. Yep. You get this momentum caring for yourself. You get addicted to like, why didn't I take, who cares? I'm doing it now, you know, and, you know, choosing your hard, like it's hard to be overweight. You know, not only is it hard on your health and your body, but it's hard on your emotions and the disappointment you have in yourself, the shame you have, you know, not wanting to wear a swimsuit, not wanting to, you know, you go to a restaurant if you've been as overweight as I have, and you're like, am I going to fit in that booth and still be able to lean forward and eat? That's hard, you know, or hard. I mean, years ago, I remember every like really bad thing that happened, but like I was with a couple of friends, and someone yelled something out of a car window in a little walking town about, you know, fat person or whatever. And I felt so embarrassed. I didn't think like, gee, that person is really horrible. I thought I'm horrible, you know? So like, that's hard, you know, that's hard to live like that, or to feel the shame because you're abusing yourself with food. And so, you know, like I said, the beauty is it gets so easy so fast when you really make the switch, and you're not just hanging on by your fingernails trying another diet, but you've decided I got to do the self-care that I deserve and need. And it just gets so much easier. And then you defend it, you know, inside, like there is nobody going to cause me to stuff something down, you know, that I don't want to eat, that isn't good for me. If I'm given a gift, I'll pass it on. If it's something I purchased that was expensive, like, you know, honey and whatnot, or things you bought in the past you didn't get a chance to use, it goes away. Nothing is worth it, you know. So peer pressure is sort of there, but I think I'm really looking forward to, Lulu, when you said, you know, when you were doing this, after a while, people a couple years later are like, oh, she's still doing it. You know, I'm excited for like when I get those like, oh yeah, this is what she's doing. That's what she does. Like, it's so like, they know it's not going to change. That'll be a fun day, a fun milestone. I'm going to watch for it because, you know, I think for a while, I don't know how long or how persistent your family or friends could be, but how long it will take them. But I'll mark the date. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it was 2 years and now they believe, you know, it doesn't matter, but it'll be kind of fun to just watch that milestone. And then I was going to say, like, it's just like the meeting, you know, I want to get to Tuesday night. I just haven't been able to yet. But like, if you said you had to go to church on Thursday night, they wouldn't be like, oh, you can miss. Or, you know, if you said I have to do my insulin treatment on Thursday night, they wouldn't say, oh, just push that off till later. We're doing this. So, it is about prioritizing. And to me, like this is top of mind. The rest of my life doesn't work right if I'm not taking care of myself. And this is taking care of myself. And so I'm clinging to it, and I love it. And I will defend it to people who I care about and that love me, just to try to help them along the learning curve. But I can't be swayed. And just this week, my husband just mentioned, because, even people you love will say things. And he said, what about when the state fair comes? What are you going to do? And I said, I'm not going to be eating my way through the fair anymore. That's all. I'll be going to the fair to see the art. I'll be going to the fair to people watch. I'll be going to the fair with my own food in tow. And I won't be sad. Like, oh, we can't have, I'm like, but even, my husband, he was like, oh, because he knows I love the fair. What about the fair? The fair is months away, but the people that love you, like to think ahead. What are you going to do when it's this or that? So, yeah, I'm excited about those milestones because they're kind of like passages of honor. Like, okay, I got through a holiday and I knew I would, but it's like a badge you get, like I did it and I'm going to keep doing it. So those are kind of exciting things, but I like to turn like the peer pressure into just maybe education to the people you love, and some will fall away. Well, you don't want to drink and you don't want to do that, so we can't invite you to happy hour. Oh, well.
Thank you for not inviting me. Then I don't have to turn you down.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love seeing you guys, and every little thing I hear always helps me a little bit. Either pre-think something or go, amen, I agree with that, or yes, I felt that, or I feel that. So it's just, I love this group so much.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Nicole. When you were sharing about your friends that, they're feeling like they see what you're doing is very beneficial for you. At the same time, they're concerned about you being deprived because it makes them sad. But remember, I've said this before, there's that difference between like, I can't eat this or I don't eat this. That's huge. And that's where this comes into play. So it's just when people really feel like that you just don't eat it, not that you can't, but that you don't.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different feel, but that's going to take a while. And then it's funny because then you'll get people that speak for you. Like I'll look in the comments and somebody will be like, do you ever have this? And somebody that I don't even know answers, oh, Lulu doesn't eat that. Lulu would never eat that. It's like, oh, thanks. Answering my question. Somebody answering all my questions for me, Maybe I'll hire her. She knows all the answers. She would never eat that, And so pretty soon it won't be even something that they're even discussing, especially when they really see you transforming your health, the transformation, and that you just like, so somebody says, don't you want to have something and give up this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm amazing.
And sometimes, like the same people who don't want you to deprive yourself are also the same people who worry that you're overweight and it's taking a toll on your health.
Yeah. It's kind of like
devil's advocate. Yeah. Like, it's maybe a natural tendency to say, oh, but what about this? But if you're gaining weight or you're overweight, they think, oh gosh, I wish, you would do something because you're going to have trouble, So
kind of like what Pam was saying about her mother,
Yeah.
Just feeding her, and now she's really excited about her getting healthier, and it's just it conflicts, but it's that whole culture of food is love, and it's just not, but yeah, just always remember, just like, I don't eat that, and it's just and when people will be like, you don't want that? No, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so good, and then after a while they believe you.
Yeah, that's going to be the fun part, you guys, is when people just know us like the back of their hand and they know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they don't have to wonder anymore or ask or question.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. And to actually be an example of somebody that doesn't need food to have fun. It's like to be with family, to be at a fair and enjoy. Like I said, when I'm in a holiday, it's like it's just to be 100% present for family. You'll be 100% present for the fair, and you've probably never done that before. It'll be a very interesting fair this year.
Yeah,
It'll
it'll
be
be
a whole
my
different
first.
experience when you're not looking at every little stand and what they're selling, right?
Exactly. Or yeah, or just, and if I felt like I couldn't put myself in that environment because it would be too tempting, but it isn't. I already know that
Yeah.
because I've already decided for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I can handle it.
Yeah.
And
look at how many months away is that, and you're already planning
that's
for
August.
this. Yeah, and you're already kind of like, I know I'm not eating at that fair in August. That's a girl that's on the wagon.
Yeah.
She's on it.
The wagon has a motor, and I thank all of you guys because you're part of the motor. So.
Yeah.
Oh, nice analogy.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
Excellent. Okay, we have.
Very good, Nicole. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm really happy for it too.
I don't even have anything to add to that.
I was going to ask you if you did.
Yeah, yeah. You probably save a lot of money at the fair. I will say though, anybody now that's been on this for a while, if you do fall off momentarily and have anything that's deep fried or anything like that, you will not be happy. Your stomach will be like, so, but we're not going to do that. So,
no,
we're not just saying, we're not going to do that.
All right. So, Rosa, it's nice to see you here.
Yes. Hi, Rosa.
We enjoy Rosa on Tuesday nights. And
Yes.
I don't know that I remember you here. I'm glad you're here.
Normally I'm here, but no with my video camera.
Oh,
because
okay.
For me, Sundays is the time who I eat. I arrive home and eat and I'm listening. But today I need to share. And for the rest who didn't know me, well, I want to say my big problem is I have a huge problem with sugar. I'm the kind of person who can eat the whole package in 10 minutes, the cookies, or I'm the kind of person who I can eat so much sugar until the point I really feel sick. Then that is my problem. A long time ago, I started to buy sugar. I started to still today, I can go to Trader Joe to buy it because I know before I go inside, I say, I'm not going to buy anything. And I don't know how, when I pay and when I go out, I finish with cookies, with chocolate, with something. Then I told my husband, you go to buy it because I can go. Then I learned to do that a long time ago. But when there are one event, one party, one occasion, and it has sugar in front of me, I'm the kind of person who goes for the second slice of cake, or the first. I'm the person who, the third in line to have my part of sugar. I'm that kind of person. I use sugar for when I feel sick, when I feel in stress, when I feel, then that is my huge problem. And I would like to share because for third time in my life, last weekend, we go to Los Angeles to visit my older son. We were with him, spent the whole weekend, and for third time in my life, was a huge, a lot sweet, and I couldn't say no. I didn't touch anything. I didn't eat anything. And you know why? All this group was in my mind in that weekend. Then for that reason, I want to say a big, big thank you, because all that what you what you mentioned, what you example, you I don't know, that teach me so much.
Oh.
And for a long time, I said, I can do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. But speaking about the challenge, Saturday was okay. I take my food, my pound of veggies and protein, and for lunch, dinner, and was okay because my son and my sister-in-law said, oh, it's one of his. He asked me, oh, why do you bring food? And say, oh, because I want to be sure I have 1 pound of veggies in my with my lunch and my dinner. And say, oh, okay, and no problem.
There you go.
But the problem was Sunday morning because my sister-in-law arrived and for breakfast and say, oh, I bring to you favor sweet bread. And in that moment I said, oh my God, no. And I fortunately when she arrived, I was busy helping my daughter-in-law in the house doing other thing and say, oh, I'm not going to have breakfast right now, later. And only I say that because I don't want to sprain. It's like Nico mentioned, sometimes you don't want to sprain what you try to do your deal because you are afraid to don't have sex and later need to get this explication to other people. Then I was only with myself say, no, you can do it. No, don't touch. Don't open the bags. Don't see what is inside. And I was washing the bags over there in the table, but I didn't touch. And that was my third time. And thank you to all of you, because really, it is when I received that to feel like say, I can do it for all of you. Then a big thank you.
Oh, that's so nice, Rosa.
Yeah,
And did you
that's
feel good?
awesome,
Did you feel
Rosa.
really good about yourself that you just
Yes.
that you just said no? You
Yes.
wanted to
And
say no, and you said no.
yes, and I feel, Lulu, so great. It's for all your videos to say the lies, and really, I arrived to that point where really I see all my veggies in my plate and say, so beautiful, all the color is the rainbow. And now I say, oh, I need the orange, no, I need the purple, and I put all my veggies, and I begin to enjoy so much,
Nice.
and feel so great because say, oh, I that is energy for my body. It's a good energy for my body,
Yes.
and still I know about the sugar because I am emotional eater of sugar when I have problem. Then I need to learn. I know I need to learn in that aspect. But thank you to this group, I feel more strong. Then thank you.
Because you know you're not alone. You're not the only one saying no.
Yeah.
And you know something, Rosa, when
Good
you
job,
said
Rosa.
when you were talking about your relationship with sugar, and you said it's just the kind of person that I am, it made me think that I could likely speak for everybody that's here, and that's kind of like the kind of person that we are too. So there's the person that's like that still eats it, and then the person that's like that stops eating it, that stopped eating it, you know. So it's like we're all kind of that person. You know what you were doing with the, you know, eating the whole packages of cookies. Been there, done that, you know. You know, not being able to say no, you know, and it's just, so we're all like that. So I used to think I was unique. No, if you had my life, or no, if you had a day like mine, you know, you needed to, you know, and it's like, it was never the answer to anything, you know, but that's how I used it. But good for you. You just said no. You just said no.
Yes, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah.
All of you, to you, Lulu, who created this group, and all of you who gave testimony of your journey. That is incredible. Is because for me, maybe in the beginning I was not enough strong, but keep listening, and it's that grow, and I feel more strong and more strong and more. And that's weekend. I didn't plan. I plan to take the veggies in my food because I want to do more healthy and eat more healthy and do better choices in my life. But I was not in my mind to say, I don't know. I didn't think about it, but when I had the sugar in front of me, all the candy in front of me, is when, I don't know, all the group came in my mind and said, I can do it. I can say no.
Yeah.
I can say no.
Yeah.
And in that moment, yeah, I didn't go close to the boxes and I didn't open. I don't want to be close. I don't want to open and see what was inside. But I said, no, I can say no. I cannot, no. Yeah, no. And yeah, in the end, the weekend passed because there was a lot of sugar, a lot of leftover for Sunday. And everybody was, the people who visit us was gone. And all the rest was over there. But I couldn't say no because in other occasion, the next day I eat everything. That was me. And then I couldn't see it's over there, but I feel strong to say no. But it's thank you to this group, really.
And you know, Rosa, another thing you said that I want to point out was that you said when somebody asked you if you were going to have one, you just said like, oh, maybe later. That's another good one. Now, I wouldn't say that to somebody that knows that I'm not going to have it later. Like they're like, you're not having it later. But if I was like with strangers that didn't know me and they were passing things around, it's like, oh, no, thanks. You know, and then it's just like, oh, you know, maybe later. You know, I'll have one. Oh, aren't you going to have one? Oh, maybe later. You know, and then nobody's keeping track of you. But I use that one sometimes too. Then you use that. So that was good. Just to kind of distract people from the pressure, the peer pressure. Yeah. Good for you, Rosa. Yay!
Good job, Rosa.
Thank you to everybody.
Yay!
Yeah.
Excellent.
Actually, something that Lulu always says, I was just checking our Facebook group, and we have over 1.8 thousand people there in our group. But we have 44 souls right here that come every week and are on this journey together. And so it's always about 40 to 45 people that come every week. And I don't know if it's the same 40 or 45, but there's definitely familiar faces every week. So like Lulu says, it's easy to click and join, but we've all made the commitment to, you know, do what serves us well.
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd I do? Was that like a little mini Lulu right there?
It was perfect. It was Barb. It was Barb. It was Barb's message.
That was mini Lulu.
So lovely to hear from everybody.